Hey, what is up guys? Epic Pokemon TCG here, and today guys I've got a pretty special deck profile for you, and we're actually going to be taking a look at the deck that took first place at the US Nationals Tournament and was piloted by Nick Robinson, and is going to be a Vespiquen Nightmarch deck. Now before we get into the video guys, I just want to say if you hear some popping in the background, my neighbors are absolutely going freaking nuts outside with some fireworks, so you're probably going to hear that periodically throughout the video, but probably shouldn't be too bad. And also, if you would like to go watch some vlogs of me at the event, just kind of goofing off and having some fun with my friends, then I'll link those down in the description below or in the comment section or something. So, hopefully enjoy those. But we're going to go ahead and get right into this by taking a look at Vespiquen here first. I'm not really going to go over Intelligence Gathering too much. It's just kind of there. And most of the time, you're going to be using Be Revenge, which has a base of 20 and does 10 more for each Pokemon in your discard pile. Now, Nightmarch and Vespiquen are very similar just because they really rely on Pokemon being in the discard pile. And so it's pretty obvious that these two have some great synergy together. And so Be Revenge, Vespiquen and Be Revenge are just very good for a lot of different matchups. Zygarde's weak to grass, and that's a deck that has rose in popularity, so it really won't take much to take out that Zygarde. And also with Water Toolbox increasing in popularity, and the fact that all those Pokemon have grass weakness just really comes into play there. Also, Vespiquen is just a very solid one-prize attacker that can do just a ton of damage, especially if you're able to like Lysander Shamans or something like that. And it's just, Vespiquen is just all around a very good card. And so yeah, I've been covering Vespiquen a lot here lately. You guys know the strengths and weaknesses of this card. The free retreat just definitely comes into play also, because a lot of times with Nightmarch, you really need like a Floatstone Pokemon or something like that, and it just really gives you another wing or another type to kind of monkey with and just play around with and just kind of take to your advantage. Vespiquen definitely a very good card. And now we're going to take a look at Pumpkaboo and Joltik. So I'm going to go ahead and cover Joltik here first, because Pumpkaboo takes a little more of an explanation. So Joltik, of course, 30 HP, not very sturdy, but it only takes a DCE to do Nightmarch, which has 20 times and then does the 20 times for every Nightmarcher in your discard pile. And so pretty much with this deck, you're going to be discarding Lampent and Pumpkaboo or Joltik, just really depending on the matchup. Most of the time you'll be mixing Lampent and, or not Lampent, but Pumpkaboo and Joltik, just to put some more Pokemon in the discard pile. Now, if the matchup really relies on Vespiquen, of course, you're probably just going to be dumping a bunch of these, maybe probably leaving like 2 or so in your deck, maybe a little more, just depending on how you want to play out that matchup. And so, I mean, like, really with this deck, you have Vespiquen, Joltik, and Pumpkaboo to monkey with. With Nightmarch, really, it just, like I said, it just depends on the matchup. Joltik is very good because it only takes a DCE, and it's just really good against cards like Mega Ray. It's good against cards like Shaman, cards like Evital, etc. Just anything really that has lightning weakness. And if you don't really necessarily have the Dimension Valley out, then you can kind of go about the Joltik route or something like that. I was starting on something a second ago, and I completely forgot what I was talking about, but you probably knew where I was going with that. So Joltik, yeah, not too sturdy, but definitely a card that you can use in certain advantages and just kind of catch your opponent by surprise. Now Pumpkaboo definitely does take a little more of an explanation. With Nightmarch, it's the same thing as Joltik, but the problem is it takes 3 energy opposed to just the DCE. Now it is exactly the same 20 times the number of Nightmarchers in your discard pile. But with this card, we usually have to have Dimension Valley on the field because you definitely don't want to commit 2 DCE to 1 Pumpkaboo. Now, Pumpkaboo is very good because it can hit a lot of things for lightning, or not lightning, psychic weakness, excuse me. And it's just a little more sturdy than Joltik. Now, Pumpkaboo can definitely be very good in some matches just because of this fighting resistance too. You never know when that might come into play, or that might be a factor for your opponent. But, I mean, really with this deck, you just kind of have to play the matches to your knowledge and just kind of play smart and use the right attackers at the right time, pretty much like every deck. But with this one, Vespiquen is very good against certain Pokemon, just like, Joltik, kind of leaving like 1 or 2 in the deck can be very good, along with Pumpkaboo, just being able to use that resistance. And honestly, guys, if you can't one-shot these Pokemon, then they're going to be doing a ton of damage. And it's a deck that can hit hard. It's very simple, very fast, and can just kind of take you by surprise. But the next card we're going to take a look at is going to be Unknown with Farewell Letter. And pretty much, if this is on your bench, you can use Farewell Letter to discard it, put it in the discard pile, and then draw an extra card. So you're going to be getting a couple benefits from this card, one of which being you could speed up the drawing process of your deck, and you could be feeling the Be Revenge attack and just kind of making your Vespiquen hit a little harder. Of course, you can Battle Compressor these if you don't want to draw into them. And then Shaman's going to be in here kind of for the same reason. You can discard it, but really it's going to be in here for the setup ability, which allows you to draw 6. And Sky Return can be a very handy attack in some situations. So let's see here. Next up, we're going to take a look at the supporter cards here. Really don't have to go too in depth with these because you guys know why they're in here. Of course, Professor Sycamore, best draw supporter in the game. Hex Maniac can be very good against Bats decks and Greninja decks, and just that opening Hex Maniac can really slow down your opponent. But really, this is going to be in here to stop Greninja. Lysander is very good just to pick off things a lot. You know, this deck really likes to see a bunch of Shaman come down on the field, and you're probably hearing the fireworks going off in the background. Really? Really? How long is that? Goodness gracious. Anyway, so Lysander is very good just because it can pull things up off the bench, mostly Shaman or Pokemon you probably couldn't finish off or something like that. Or maybe you can pull off like, you know, like a Lysander onto a Jolteon or something like that. This deck really doesn't have to worry about Jolteon just because of the Vespiquen. One of the reasons why Vespiquen is so good because it can get past Jolteon, and that's something that Night March has greatly struggled with most of the time. If they get an attack off with Jolteon and you really don't have an answer for it, you kind of just lose. So Lysander is going to be very helpful for that too. N's really in here kind of for the disruption / you know, just consistency reasons. It's very good early on for you to draw some cards, and then late game if you're getting absolutely stomped, you can end your opponent to 1 and just kind of go from there. Teammates is a very good card in here, mostly due to the fact because everything in your deck has such low HP that you can usually pull off a great teammates move. Maybe you can teammate for a couple puzzle at a time, or you can teammate maybe for like a DCE or like a, you know, just whatever you might need during the match at you know, if the situation comes up. 06 in here really just to kind of discard like Fighting Fury Belts or discard other special energy on your opponent's Pokemon. This was really used like a lot during, I think it was used a lot during the final matchup, 06ing off like double dragon energies and such. So that's very good because really Giratina can definitely be a huge problem for this deck if they're able to pull off the Chaos Will, because then you can't attach your DCEs or anything. So 06 along with Enhanced Hammer, which allows you to discard a special energy off of one of your opponent's Pokemon, could just be very good just to kind of get around that deck. And let's see what we can do here. Starling Megaphone, this kind of comes into play also for like Float Stones, and can come into play for like Muscle Bands, Fighting Fury Belts, etc. Fighting Fury Belt can be a very annoying card for this deck just because it kind of makes your numbers off and makes them a little more awkward. Escape Rope, this is really in here. Escape Rope is just very good because like if you don't have Vespiquen out on the field and your opponent's attacking with Jolteon or something like that, give you a random scenario here, you can Escape Rope and still be able to attack. And plus, just really having Escape Rope is just good for different situations. You never know if your opponent might send up something that they want to just sacrifice for the turn, and you can Escape Rope and just make the decision a little more difficult on them. Keep applying that pressure. Town Map, just really this is in here so you can take a look at your prizes. See if you might have some Night Marchers in there or something like that. You can, or if you might have some DCE prize, which can be a key card in a matchup, so that whenever you take a prize, you can make sure you have energy throughout the game. And then we're going to take a look at VS Seeker. Really just to get your supporters back. And Ultra Ball, this is in here just to discard Pokemon and just really make your deck a little more consistent. Maybe discard some stuff out of your deck you might not need and just kind of get it going. Now the next card I'm going to take a look at is the one that really just kind of makes the deck explode, makes the deck work, makes it go. It's the gas. I can keep going. But that is going to be Battle Compressor. Search your deck for up to 3 cards and discard them. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Now, with this card, what you're going to be doing mostly is you're going to be discarding, you know, Lampent. You're going to be discarding your Night Marchers, really. I guess you would keep your Vespiquen line in there. You can even discard your Unknown. That could be an option. Also, what you can do with this is you can discard your supporters that you might need during the matchup or something like that, and just get some of these cards out of the way. Not those two. Do not discard these. I just kind of kept going because I felt like it. But really, you can just discard your supporters and stuff in there. Maybe you have a dead hand. You know, you have a VS Seeker and a Battle Compressor that's going to guarantee you a supporter. And really, Battle Compressor just comes into play for so many different reasons. It's a very helpful card and just allows you to make this deck go. With Battle Compressor, you could discard those Night Marchers, fuel your Night March and be Revenge, and just continue on to do a bunch of damage. Also, this is going to be eliminating a bunch of cards out of your deck, just making your deck way more consistent and allowing you an easier way to draw into those key cards you might need throughout the matchup. Next up, we're going to take a look at Puzzle of Time. Now, Puzzle of Time is a card that is very good and really up Night March's playability, along with Vespa Queen. Now, when you play one of these cards, you can take a look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. That's pretty good. Just allow you to kind of manipulate your draw for the next turn, or maybe you're going to shame it or something like that, and you can just kind of fix to see what you're going to get. But if you play 2 at a time, you can put 2 cards from your discard pile into your hand. So, of course, this means you can get your DCEs back, along with your Dimension Valley. Maybe you can get back some attackers or something like that. Battle Compressor, Stalling Megaphone, Zero Sick, Enhanced Hammer. Just, you can get back anything, which is very, very good. And let's see. Of course, you need the DCs to attack. Pretty self-explanatory there. But really, the idea of this deck is to just discard Pokemon, use the right one in certain matchups, hit for a ton of damage, put a lot of pressure on your opponent, and with this list, with the Enhanced Hammer, the Megaphone, the Zero Sick, it just really is a very disruptive list. So you can just put a lot of pressure on your opponent, screw them up a little bit, and then pretty much just continue to overwhelm them. So, congratulations to Nick Robinson. Hopefully I did explain this deck well enough for you guys can understand. If you are new to my channel, I do mess up a lot during these videos, and I have grown to embrace it. But if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you would thumbs up the video and subscribe for some more content, because I will be continuing to upload some more top 8 deck lists from Nationals. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Take care. And as always, guys, this is Epic Pokemon TCG signing out.